Hello superheroes! In this video I'm going to show you how you can overcome social conditioning and energy structures that keep you stuck where you don't want to be, so that you can finally create the things you want in your life with ease. Welcome back to another video. I'm Scarlet Grace from unseenseraph.com. I'm a manifestation coach and I help people to create a life more amazing than their wildest dreams. Today I'm going to share with you a few powerful ideas from a book called Reality Transurfing. Reality Transurfing is a powerful manifestation method developed by a quantum physicist in Russia named Vadim Zeland. Reality Transurfing is a really amazing system to manifest your desires. I've been using it for a while now, and the results have been mind-blowing. Reality Transurfing merges many ideas from Eastern philosophies with things like parallel realities and energy work. The book contains some ideas and concepts you won't find in most other law of attraction books, and today I'm going to talk about one of these concepts called pendulums, and how understanding pendulums can really change everything in the way you manifest. So let's talk about pendulums. Pendulums in Reality Transurfing are energy structures created either by a specific person or a group of people. See, our thoughts produce electromagnetic energy. We may not be able to see this energy, but it exists. So whenever we think of something, we are feeding it with energy. When we think about something consistently, and especially when many people think about something, their thought energy combines with the thought energy of all the other people having the same thoughts, and creates this energy being called a pendulum. You can think of a pendulum as an energy structure or an egregore. It's basically an energy accumulation that we create with our thoughts, and then it develops its own momentum. A pendulum will then influence its adherents for its own purposes. Anything that people are strongly for or against is a pendulum. For example, football teams, religions, political parties, organizations and companies are all pendulums. Specific styles and trends, celebrities, even TV series and movies are pendulums. Pendulums, as a general rule, are destructive because their goal is to draw you in and steal your energy by having you feed it to them. Some pendulums are minimally destructive and others are very destructive. Pendulums only care about making people adhere to certain rules so they can feed from their energy. In addition to that, pendulums don't care if you're strongly in support of them or strongly opposing them, because either way you're feeding them with your thoughts and energy. There are also bigger and smaller pendulums. For example, a specific group of friends you belong to can have their own pendulum. Think high school stereotypes, for example. Bullies generally behave in a similar way. Or if you want to be one of the cool kids, you have to do certain things and follow certain rules in terms of how you talk, how you dress, who you hang out with, where you hang out, etc. If you want to remain one of the cool, popular kids, then you have to follow those rules, and this feeds that specific pendulum. If you hate the popular kids, then your thoughts and emotions also feed that pendulum. If you strongly wish to become one of the popular kids, then you are feeding the pendulum too. Knowing about pendulums and understanding how they operate is important because of two reasons. The first reason is that pendulums steal people's energy. So if you're under the influence of strong pendulums, then your energy goes towards feeding these pendulums instead of going towards creating the life you want. The second reason is that pendulums generally derail people from their happiest life paths. Instead of being on the path that is right for you, the path where you do what you love and follow your true calling in life, when you're ensnared by a pendulum, you get convinced that your thoughts, opinions, end goals and happiness are identical to that of a pendulum. For example, you may have wanted to become an artist, but you work a corporate job instead because you got ensnared by a pendulum and you ended up believing that no one can make money from art and that climbing the corporate ladder is what you truly want. But if that's not what you truly want deep down, then you'll never be happy because you're walking someone else's path, not yours. Whether you hate this job, struggle to get a promotion, or actually succeeding in the corporate world, if it's not your path but something you ended up doing because of a pendulum, then you are never going to be truly happy. Only a person whose path happens to align with that specific pendulum would be happy and thrive in that pendulum. So how do we defeat a pendulum? The problem with pendulums is that, as I said earlier, you cannot defeat a pendulum by opposing it, because whether you're strongly in support of it or strongly in opposition of it, it will still use that energy to feed itself. So it will become stronger and you will become weaker. The way to defeat a pendulum is not to oppose it, but to calmly ignore it. All you basically need to do in most cases is to stop playing their game. The first step is to recognize the presence of a pendulum. Then, after you've seen it for what it is, become indifferent to it. You know what it is now and what its true goal is, so calmly ignore it. This will cause the pendulum to fail to ensnare you, and instead of it stealing your energy to feed, you actually gain the energy it used to try to control you. Pendulums thrive off of the energy produced by your thoughts and emotions, right? So if you remain dispassionate towards a pendulum, then it has nothing to gain from you and it will pass you by instead. For example, many pendulums get our energy when we watch the news and we have a strong emotional reaction to what we see. There's a reason that what's on the news is usually almost exclusively negative, and that's because this creates a strong emotional reaction in people. So next time you watch the news and you watch yourself having a strong reaction to what you're seeing or hearing, stop and remind yourself that, okay, this is just a pendulum. It wants me to play its game and get scared or angry so it can feed. I don't have to play its game. And then continue to watch in a detached manner, or simply turn off the TV and walk away. Or maybe you are at a party and a group of people are arguing about sports or politics or something. Recognize that this is a battle between pendulums. And instead of getting angry or getting involved in the conversation, calmly walk away. In addition to that, start becoming aware of the thoughts you think. We all believe that all our thoughts are our own. But the truth is that many of our thoughts aren't our own. We pick up thoughts and ideas from other people. And pendulums will try to impose their thoughts on you as a way to get you under their control. The trick is to be aware of this and watch our thoughts so that we won't be triggered by events and things people say or do all the time. Now this takes a bit of practice at first, because we are conditioned to react to everything and to have a strong opinion about everything. This is how pendulums feed after all, so it makes sense that this is how we are used to operating. If you start becoming more aware of your thoughts though, and reminding yourself to detach instead of feeding the pendulum, it will become easier and easier to do so with each passing day. Once you become aware that something triggered you, and you are having thoughts that feed energy to a pendulum, you can then more easily detach, because you realize what's going on. Just notice the thought and let it pass instead of focusing on it and allowing it to create strong negative emotions in you. Now here's an important thing to keep in mind. Don't think of pendulums as monsters with a mind of their own. Pendulums are everywhere, so you can never be completely free from all pendulums. Under the right circumstances, you can even use a pendulum to your advantage. Alright, this was a lot of information at once, so let's recap. Pendulums are created when several people's thoughts and feelings create an energy structure and feed it with energy, usually unconsciously. Pendulums only care about recruiting people, so they can feed from their energy. They accomplish that by making people attune to their energy vibration, either by making them strongly in favor of them or by making them strongly against them. Pendulums will impose their goals on you while making you think that those goals are your goals. In this manner, you will work towards the pendulum's goals and not towards your real goals that would make you happy. To defeat a pendulum, recognize its presence and then remain emotionally detached towards it. This way, instead of losing your energy to the pendulum, you will gain the energy it used to try to ensnare you. Next week, I'm going to show you several specific ways of dealing with pendulums, including how, under specific circumstances, you may be able to use a pendulum to your advantage. So if you don't want to miss next week's video, then hit the subscribe button and the bell icon below.